Beautiful beings of the universe. Hello and welcome to Now. So, I want to talk about what is a true art. So, in the real sense, art is basically whatever you want to create that you get a glimpse of from your own creative side, or whatever is the source of thing that you are naturally attracted to. So, basically, the sense of art actually develops in the childhood phase, wherein after the child is born and as they start growing up, they have natural tendency to be attracted towards certain kinds of things that they like. So basically, that is the true art in the sense because as a child, you are unconditioned and you know what truly is the object of interest to you. It might be music or games or any sort of a thing, or might be you're a very good sports person. So, this is very essential because as a child, if you are aware, and a child is pretty much aware because they get very much involved in the sense of whatever is that they enjoy doing. And as long as the parents do not come in and stop to say that, no, you should only be doing your studies and this and that. Of course, education is important to be able to grow up and live in a society and understand where you can fit in. But gradually, uh, the whole point is that if you're trying to inculcate your sense of art, what you had the sorts of interest as a child, and that if you can inculcate as you begin to turn more towards the time when you get older, that is going to give a lot of meaningfulness and purpose to life. Why do I say about that is the society in which we live is primarily more time bound, and you are supposed to do this and that by this time and age. But if you are actually looking at the whole sense of view from the sense of direction, like you're aware of this is the direction where you want to go, so now you're going actually more from a sense of compass driven thing. So you know your direction and you are going from that. Why would this give you a sense of fulfillment? And why I talk about this is, of course, it's been talked about throughout so many places, and in fact, I also got my reference from some point. But always, in the sense that whatever you're doing right now for your living to pay your bills and the activities that you do to maintain your status or like your way of existence, so that would be coming in from a source which is meaningful to a certain way. And but what if that does not give you a sense of art, that does not give you a sense of truly doing what you love? Now there are two aspects to it. One is, if you know exactly what you love, so you go after that and you try and make your lifestyle and your living doing that sort of work. Now that is not very easy because naturally you are going to land up to places where you would be probably not paid so much for doing what you are loving. So, for example, if you're a painter and you say, yeah, I'm an artist and I want to paint and make my living through that. So, initially, as a beginner, and if you're a young person, like you're uh, a teenager or in early 20s, it will be very difficult because the society outside will tell you that you're not having experience. But as you get older, and you get more matured, but you have been following through the norms and the standards so that you can keep paying your bills. But there's always a clock ticking at the back of your brain, and you know that you're not doing what you were truly born for. And this thing starts coming in from your 20s, and this would actually continue as long as you do not truly heed to that call. So that is so essential. Again, this is really critical because how much I have seen in my own experience with my self introspection and this self inquiries that I do. So I find that there's a lot of resistance internally because you are also thinking that the first draft that you do not want to publish is probably because you are expecting too high of yourself and you think that you are way beyond where you actually are. So, in that sense, you always find yourself in a preparatory phase. And this is the tyranny of life that you are never truly 100% done. So, you're never actually a cooked recipe. You're always a thing in the making, you're always a thing in the process. So, if you understand to this thing, and also you take to the concept of non doership, that is going to save you a lot of burden that being taken off your chest of being perfect, because this very idea of being perfect is very daunting. And you might be scared of a nasty comment on YouTube, or you might be scared of not being able to build the clients if you're in that creative space. And clients might not like your way because you're just too much out there, and they might call your creativity as too intense. And they might say, no, 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 you're just being too much. You need to settle down. You need to level down. Okay? Don't be too much. And this is very normal because that is the whole point of being an artist, that you should be able to express exactly the way you want to. Because if you are sticking to how the status quo is and how things have been all this while, what is the point of you creating? Because a true sense of art comes from a very bizarre space. It might be pretty scary to you yourself. Like I have got sorts of ideas in terms of music or art, which I myself find very scary when it comes out. And I find, oh, but this is just like too intense. How am I to put that out? Because probably I'm going to get a lot of pushback. And I don't know how to I find the producers who would actually be able to gel in and not try to manipulate my song in a way so that it fits into the market. I don't want that. So what I want, whatever creativity I have inside me, that should come out in a raw form. And that is pretty daunting initially to every artist, because they know that there is a lot of resistance if you're truly coming from your authentic space. As long as you follow the crowd, and as long as you do things what others are doing, even your way of living, nobody's going to question that. The moment you take up your own space and you say, this is what I am, and now you see there's a lot of challenges that you face along the way. So there'll be a lot of issues that you face, or people yelling at you, honking at you, or calling you names, or talking things about you which is not even true, just so that they can manipulate you and bring you in a space of fear where you would not create. So these are the things which as a truthful person, as an artist, you would need to bring it out. And that is the whole point of music. You see, all of the great artists, Michael Jackson, or Billy Joel, or any of the fabulous musicians that you see, all of them were so original, so raw, so crude. And none of them ever thought of sticking to the standards and just making a hit for the sake of it, because they had their voice within. And that is what precisely is the hallmark of greatness, that you're not just looking for money and fame, but you are actually doing something which your soul calls you to do. And also in the sense that you want to benefit the rest of society and mankind, and you're not trying to play yourself safe and small just to keep yourself safe. Like, look at Martin Luther King. And I was reading about him the other day. uh, what phenomenal person he was, and that's why we need leaders like them. And what is the price that he had to pay for that was, others might say, oh, but that is too risky being like that, because see, finally he was assassinated. But then there needs to be real leaders who are actually having vision to truly change and reform the world, and not just having selfish criteria that I need to do this and that so that I can meet my selfish needs. And that, like, this is what I said precisely. This is the main bifurcation, differentiation point between a great leader and a corrupt leader. A corrupt leader will also die. Don't think that if you are corrupt or you are trying to play it safe, you're not going to die. Death will come to everyone. The only choice we have is, do you stand for the truth, and do you live as a martyr? Do you live as a rebel, in the sense that you are truly depicting what you have inside of yourself? Now, that does not mean that you need to uh, you know just force yourself to get into situations like that. However, if life brings you up with a situation in a way that you have something inside of yourself and you want to bring it out, then you should have that courage. You should have that courage to create, and not just live under the cover and be scared, and not be able to let it out because of the fear of rejection, and fear of failures, and fear of rejection. And this is the thing. As you are growing up the ascension levels, you would have lots of rejections. You would face with a lot of circumstances which is not just. You would be facing a lot of people who are absolutely pathetic, and those are all, like Carl Jung says, those are all actually the shadow self. So your own deeper inner shadow sides, which is actually being projected as you deep dive more within of yourself. So all of those projections comes out in the form of external places and people. So you do see all of those situations, but you should be having the presence of mind and the state of awareness so that you can say, well, these are all my projections. And of course, it feels miserable to fail and to be rejected for because you see it's very unjust. And I did no such thing or situation wherein I deserve this sort of a expectation. I don't deserve this sort of a behavior from society towards me. But what is critical is here that you do watch and you go through that uh, terrible emotions, that those sort of energy in motion that you feel, because you would of course not like it. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes to feel miserable in their gut because of a nasty environment that you're in. So what is essential is not to react. You just watch that. And like I said in my previous videos as well, you watch that with a state of awareness, with a detachment. Like, detachment is so essential here, because if you're trying to put a lot of self importance to yourself, to things that you're doing and how you want things to turn around your way, at a certain level it is essential, because like I said, you also want to exhibit the art that you have. You also want to showcase the thoughts that you have. You also want to bring out your philosophy of life, and not just always do a lip service to Jesus said that and Krishna said that and Buddha said that. You as your own existence, you are seeing through every single thing, every single moment of your life. And you, in a state of awareness, are your own best philosopher. Of course, you do listen to the masters, because that's where the rays of hope and light comes through in the world of darkness. But what I do mean to say is that everybody has their own sense to listen to their own voice, to listen to their own thoughts, and be able to decide. Then you can probably differentiate between what's right and wrong. Or maybe you just want to be at ease, you just want to be at peace. So, in that aspect as well, you need to see through like what is essential, and take out the garbage and keep what's just needed. That would free up a lot of space in your memory. So why is again this is so essential, because you do not want to wear your energy levels out by keeping in all the garbage that others throw at you in society. You want to keep your mind fresh, just like a child. You see, we should learn from children especially. But what we do in turn as parent, we try to manipulate and try to teach the child. But not every time a child is naive. You see, many times a child has a very much sense of awareness that is something so fresh and alive that an adult and older person needs to learn. So, for example, you will see children, they will fight or they be hit by their parents, or just scolded at why did you this and that. And after a while, they just forget. They are so fresh, like they do not bear the burden of I'm angry with you. And this state of freshness of your memory, this is really essential, because then that means you keep the garbage out and take the critical and meaningful feedback. So that does not mean you would not actually listen to the critiques. Critiques are important if their feedback is actually giving some sense of value to you. So if there is a feedback for you which you need to work on, definitely you should do that. But if there is just a useless yelling, a useless noise just to detour you from your vision, from your mission where you are trying to go, that's complete bullshit. And you must save all of your energy not to give in to that distraction. That is where focus comes into picture. And focus cannot just come in if you do not see the bigger picture of where the feedback is coming from. So if you're on your own personal levels of ascension and you are trying to dig deeper into your own shadow side, like I said, you would be facing all these unpleasant situations. And the way out is the way in. So you do not try to stay in a closed box and just not step outside. You do the things that makes you feel scared. You go ahead and face those situations and see, is that truly correct, or is that just my projection of the situation? Is it true that I would really fail, or is it just my projection? How do you know if what your mind is in fact saying is true or false? Because now the waters run deep and you are going within yourself. At this point, you have even lost that right to blame others, because now you're dealing with yourself, you and your own thoughts, you and your own mind. So, this is essential because everybody can waste a lot of time blaming others, blaming their parents, blaming society, blaming others for the misery that that one is in. But the thing is that it's not going to take you anywhere. Like, go ahead and complain if that is of any sort of uh, solution to you. Like, are you really able to achieve to the place where you want to, or is your complaint just a thing in the air and it's not going to hold any value? Maybe about that. If you feel that something unjust has been done and you want to raise your voice and make a complaint about it, you can do that. But again, the result may or may not be in your favor. So trying to control that everything should go as per how I want to do it, well, nobody knows what the future holds. But what you can do from your end is do what seems right. So if you feel that something was not done correctly, you might raise your voice and have a complaint on that. But whether the result is going to be in your favor or not, that aspect we do not know. So at that point, again, not falling flat on your face and feeling miserable about that. But what is important is that you just watch that through a sense of detached awareness. So actually, that brings about living is dying, because if you keep on living with a way of your desires, and negating your fears, it's not going to happen. And everybody knows that, because if you're on the trying to enjoy the tide of desire, you must crash through and face your fears. You must crash through. It's like the two sides of the coin. You cannot have one without the other. It's like day and night, yin and yang, right? But what is essential is if you come to a place of detached awareness, like you come as the witness, then you would also have to let go of the things what you like so much. So your whole sense of attachment, that is not what you want to let go. Because as normal as humans, what we want is we just want to feel the good sides of everything, and we do not want to feel the miserable side of it. But who's going to pay for that? Here the payment does not just means money. Payment is any sort of a thing that you are dealing in the sense of energy. Any unpleasant energy is a price that you pay. In fact, money was designed for that. So you can have more of good pleasant feeling energies, and you can keep the things that you do not want, like for example sickness, disease, death, failures, away. So because you do not want to feel those negative energies, negative emotions, so to keep those things away, society built around systems wherein you would have medical facilities and housing complexes and stores wherein you can buy things so that you can eat and feel good and replicate the happy energy emotion, that now you're happy, now you are satisfied. But by the law of duality, the laws of two, whatever is up comes down, and whatever is nice is bound to give you a sense of uh, irritation after a while. So even your friends, you are not going to like your friends throughout your life. Look at your own life. Like you had so many friends as a young child of 7 years old, and as you got older, some of you might be still in touch with the friends you had while you were 7 or 10 years old, your childhood friends. But many of them have just gotten lost along the way. And even if you are in touch, you have your own life responsibilities and things that keeps you busy and intact, and you are not so much closely interacting with them on a very regular basis, because you say that is not so essential for me. They are my friend, and that's fine. Probably I'll get to them when I can, or just have a meeting with them once or twice or thrice in a year. Or of course you might have lots of ways to connect, but just in general, whatever is giving you a sense of joy does vanish the other moment. So for example, you might say I like ice cream, and you just want to say I like ice cream and I can just go on eating that. But that's not true, because truly your appetite might be only for 3 to 4 ice creams. And once you had that, you you just want to say, now I'm feeling so full. I cannot have that anymore. But if somebody by force keeps on giving you that time and again, you are just going to feel, oh, this is just too much for me, and I don't want to have this anymore. Now that same object, ice cream, which was giving you a sense of joy, now comes to be a sense of unpleasantness. So you don't want to do that. So the whole point is, like I started my talk for as an artist. So to be able to create and do what you like, or whatever the call comes from. And then there are also challenges in the way the forms appears. So they might be sometimes very abstract, even in terms of painting. Like you have an idea in head, or you just saw some print on a cloth, which was just a normal print, but the way you perceived it, it looked something to you. It looked like an angel to you. So now watching that, you want to replicate that. And there might be lots of vagueness around that when you actually try and put that on paper. But then how you start is, like Lao Tzu said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So there is no way that being in the now, while you're drawing this, say for example, you're sketching an angel and you're just drawing the face of the angel, you cannot directly jump up to, in your imagination, and imagine how is the whole picture going to look like. You will get there, but only through drawing the exact intricate parts one by one. If you do not draw the entire thing, it might remain undone, at least to your own logical end. So, as an artist, you have all the right to say, now I call this as a logical end. The truly, you can keep on creating art, even that one thing can go on for eternity. You can keep on adding as much finer details. There can be no end to it. So, you might start with a black and white drawing, just as a sketch, and then your mind might say, oh, I want to make it more bright, I want to add in more life to it. So you throw in some colors in that, and then you think, well, I want to do something more about that. I want to add lots of golden shades to it, so that the golden aspect, I want to brighten that more. Then I want to add in more silver to it, so that I can show the silver side of it, or whatever way. So at the point that there is actually no final end to an art, unless and until you as an artist do not give it a logical end. And so is the case with everything, in fact. So what I'm trying to say is, just to be honest and being absolutely clear about what do you want, and and for that sense of clarity to come about, it is essential that you sit with your own self, that you just see through your thoughts, what is it that it is trying to create, and also the intention behind that. Why is it that you want to create? Where is it leading you to? Because gradually, if you're just creating, and if your intentions are not too deep and clear, you might just not like the end product, and not even the end product, but also you would not say that, why am I even doing this? In the middle of that, this question will always be lurking at the back of your mind, like, why am I doing this? Okay, if your needs are not met and you are struggling for survival, of course, then the requirement is pretty clear that you want to do this because you want to make money so that you can pay your bills. But if it has already, these basic levels have been met, then you're at the point wherein you see, like, you're deeply looking for the meaning and purpose. Like, if it does not bring soul satisfaction to you, you don't want to do that thing just because everybody else is doing that. You don't want to do that. So my whole point and intention of making this video was to have the courage to be able to bring out, that is the message, to dare to create, to dare to just be who you are, and uh, not try to hide yourself and change the shades of who you truly are, just to be playing safe and playing like, acting like a fool amongst the others. You need to stay true to your own self and be who you are and create whatever is it that your soul is calling you for. Because here's the fact, you would be hated for everything, whether you're doing the thing that you like to do or you're doing something that you do not like to do. So you would be hated by everything, and you would be having the other side always up raising their head. shouting at you. So essential thing is that, do you have the courage to at least just look within and see what it is that you truly want to create. And I'm not even saying that you just create for the sake that, okay, because the situation is so turbulent and you do not feel comfortable and you do not feel safe. So though this too is very this too is a very much playing factor. Like sometimes situation forces you into a creative zone, and that is the aspect of alchemy. So you use those dark negative energies and you transmute that to become a creator. So that is the point wherein you have become an alchemist. So those are very higher states of consciousness if you view to it through that way. But if you say that, oh, it is too much taxing for me and I did not want to land in there because it's just being too much out there to face. It's just too wild a world. I'm facing so much of rejections and so much of, no, 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 you can't do this, you can't do that. This is not the standard. This is a copyright thing. This is a that thing. This is illegal. I'll be going against you on claims and this and that. And this is how the world is. Like you would be challenged at every single stage. Now there's a lot of study. So you have two choices. Either you be the bully, or you come to the other side as a hero. So that means you need to study a lot of things. You need to study through the system. You need to see how this whole game works. You need to figure out how to make the decision in your favor. And again, without through all this thing, what is the most important thing is you need to stay detached. So the challenge is in having the balance of being able to do the actions and take the steps that is needed to be done by you without being attached to the end result. So if you can do that, you're already a hero. You need not wait on the end line to say, I'm a hero. And I'm not saying hero as a gender specific thing. I'm just talking as a heroic act. I'm not talking in sense of a male or a female. So bringing out that heroic act from within your own self is when you would be doing things which your soul intended you to do. And what is the price for that? The price for that is immense because your own ego is the problem. And every person, their own egos just wants to feel only good things, only wants to have nice things, only wants to feel comfortable, safe, relaxed. Nobody wants to be threatened. And this entire work will bring out the worst of you to the outer world, in the sense that you're going to face lots of unpleasant situations which are actually demons of your own creation, because those are the shadow aspects which you hid as a child, as Carl Jung talks about the shadow self. So every time as a child, when you are scolded for, or negated at, or put control over, that why are you doing this, don't do that, so you do not want to displease your parents and you say, yeah, yeah, just to keep safe, because you do not want to be threatened by others anymore. So a child is very vulnerable and they just want to get by. But at the back of their mind, there is that trauma. And that gradually, as an adult, your childhood traumas come up to the surface. And in the most unaware ways. So that would just come up in a situation when you least expect it. So you might say, why did I react the way I did on such a trivial incident? So those are your unconscious patterns of your own self, of your shadow self, which you hide underneath the carpet so that you are accepted in society. Now the work here is that there will be all these ugly sides from the shadow side which would come up. And now the challenge is to first of all watch it, because it's so, we are such in a state of negating our own existence. We only want ourselves to be the best. But do you have the courage to love yourself at your worst and not seek validation from others that like me the way I am, love me the way I am? Do you have the courage to truly accept yourself when you fall flat on face, when you hit the ground? And I've seen this like as a natural example. When you fail, the first resistance is to, it's always them. So I failed because of them. I failed because of this and that, and life is so unjust. And where is God? If there is God, why is He doing all these tests, and why am I failing all this time? Why are things not working in my favor? Where's the energy gone? So initially there's always that state of resistance and blame and a lot of, so do not run away from that, because the whole point is that you're going to watch through that and feel the heat. That feels miserable, that feels pathetic, go through it. Just deal with it. Deal with it. Why? Because there's no other way. The way out is only in. So you must go all the way. If you have started to take on this journey like me, you must go all the way. There's no way that you start half a race and then you come back. There's no going back, there's no return. Because at this point, you're only supposed to go ahead. There is no point of return, no matter what you do, no matter what your situation is. Despite all that, have the courage. And have the courage to deal with your own self. Have the courage to be yourself. Have the courage to face your own self when you fail. Because because it's easy to say that, okay, maybe finding a guru or a master would help me. Definitely, they all are going to tell you the same thing, that I can show you the way. I can show the water to the horse, but it's on horse to drink the water. So there's no way that you're going to have a shortcut around that by just going to a therapist or going to a guru. Surely take their help, but they would in turn tell you that you need to do the groundwork. It's your mess and you need to clean it up. This is the law of the universe. Clear your rubbish. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And as irritating as it sounds, and you might be in denial all your life saying that I don't want to take that heavy responsibility. Well, you have to. That is the price you have to pay as you were born. And you might say, but I did not choose to be born. Why should I suffer? Why should I go through all of this unnecessary hassle? Then, like Ramana Maharishi says, just drop all your desires and your fears, surrender. That is the way of devotion, bhakti, through the path of love to God. But if one cannot do that, because total surrender is also going to land you in that same place of vulnerability, and you will have to face your dark side, because we all have got to the point wherein we our needs are met. As long as you have job, as long as you have this and that, as long as you have money, and the moment you are tested, how many of you still have the courage to truly say, yeah, I still love my God despite me being at my worst? So even the path of surrender or the path of responsibility as a warrior, or as a somebody who's taking all of the control and responsibility in their own hands, which is a pretty heavy burden to take. But burden is through one angle. Like, because this is only half side of the view that you have seen. If you have a holistic view, you also see to the other side that, well, if I'm not going to cook my meal, there's nothing for me. Like, it's you who cook your meal, or you order online, or you step out. It does not just land from the sky. So it's all about your own, you doing your work for your own self. So this is really important, because many times we think maybe things would just work out on their own way. Because you see, sometimes they did. And the whole example, like for example, if you're applying at 10 places for a job or for audition or for whatever, and then you say, but my job is only to keep on applying, and then I do not know which creator is going to like my work, and some of them might like, some of them might reject. So again, to be able to see how much of truly control do you have? Do you truly have control, or is it all already out of your control? Then you just go through the motion, and you're not even going to have a say that, like how Nisargadatta Maharaj says, because he has already surrendered his sense of individual existence. So he says that life is just a flow, and he just goes through life. So whatever ups and downs comes through, he just goes through all of that. But he's not trying to manipulate the reality in a way that, now at this point I'm only going to feel the goods of life, and I'm not going to feel the bad aspect of it. Because this is the law. As long as you are desiring something, you must pay the price on the opposite end of feeling unpleasant, of having do the hard work. Nobody wants to work hard to achieve something, because you having to work that hard drains you out of a lot of energy, and you have to build in a lot of things inside yourself which does not feel nice, just because now you want that and you need to work hard and you need to struggle. So this is the price you pay for having something that you want. So nothing is for free. Free not only in the sense of monetary thing, in sense of currency or money or any sort of format. Anything unpleasant that you feel is the price you pay. So either we take to our full responsibility or we just surrender. Surrender will mean that you surrender your ego, in the sense that whatever comes through, now you have the courage to accept it. Whatever they yell at you or they shout at you, or losses that you go through, or whatever life situation brings in, you still stick to that. And you're not in a state of denial. Like, you just watch it with detached awareness, doing this self inquiry. Who's this I which is resisting to it? Who is this I? So now your question is not why are they doing that? Now your question is turned inward and you say, who is this I which is feeling this and that? This is the path of Ramana Maharishi as he talks on self inquiry. And truly, if you turn within and figure out who am I, there is no such thing inside of you that will say, this is I. So your cells in the body do not scream, this is I. Your organs of the body, your hand does not say, this is I. When somebody says your name, you just turn around and you say, yeah, this is me. But always you put your hand to the heart. So somewhere, even if you ask a 2-year-old baby and you say like something that they like or not, they're always going to point, I like it. So their hand is always turned to the heart side. So the I resides in the heart. But if you go within your heart and zoom in and see where is this I, so your mind would try to figure out the I, but there is actually no sense of I. There is just this existence. There is just this presence. Initially, we just start with this self-existence mode. You just stay in the I am, and then from that I am, you keep on doing this self-inquiry. Who am I? Who am I? And then that takes you back to something deeper. I have not yet reached that state wherein I could see something deeper, though sometimes I do have glimpses wherein there is just utter silence, and that makes you feel very much blissful. But then again, you are brought back through the noise of the mind, and again, you are taken aback through your normal habits and conditions, and you are back in the circle of, oh, I have to do this to do that, so I can get this, and I don't want to need that, so I can escape that bad situation. So that's what I just wanted to talk about. To be as who one is born to be. And in order to do that, there is actually a sense of non-doing. So you just come through the witness and just observe that and just go through whatever comes its way and not trying to escape and bend the way the reality is right now. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching.